been getting hit with snow for 48 hours, but find out when it's going to stop in my full weather forecast. Citrus TV News Live at 6 starts right now.
And the White House holds their first press briefing since October. Find out what topics were discussed and how the administration is responding to the General Motor cuts.
Plus, former campaign chairman Paul Manafort is in hot water after facing accusations of lying to the FBI. Citrus TV News starts right now.
This is Citrus TV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
Heavy snow continues to fall in central New York after hitting the area all day. Good evening, I'm Drew Carter.
And I'm Claudia Bellofatto. The National Weather Service has issued a winter storm warning for central New York. The service says parts of I-81 could become very dangerous due to low visibility and blowing snow. Those driving on higher ground should be especially cautious.
And the snow is only expected to get worse throughout the night. Our weather anchor, Sunny Balkin, is here to help us prepare for the storm. Sunny, how much snowfall can we expect?
Drew, in layman's terms, a lot. We should be expecting almost 20 inches by Thursday's end. There is a winter weather advisory out, as you guys know. It's not exactly safe to be out and about right now. You might need to cancel some of your plans later tonight. It's nothing crazy, and in fact, we're not the only ones experiencing this. If you guys see over here on the chroma, everyone is kind of being hit a little bit, at least in the northeast, by this northeast snowstorm. We got inches by inches going over places like Boston, Syracuse, our neighbors to the north in Rochester. And let me give you a closer look at my next slide. If you could see that it's actually, Syracuse is completely coated by snow right now, and that's going to stay for a pretty long time. As this moves forward, you're going to start seeing little specks of rain, little specks of green when the video starts to move forward. Then you'll be able to understand that, yeah, like see right there, that's our snow and our rain. That's going to be sleet, icy road conditions, nothing great. Let me show you a little bit about the cold that we're going to be expecting. Look, it's blue. What more? That's as cold as we're going to get for this time of year. It's in the low 30s. Nothing we should be happy about. I mean, it is frigid out there. You're going to need your big coat like I had earlier today, and you're going to be having to yell when you talk because that wind is just going to be whipping around with almost 20 miles per hour. Back to you guys.
Okay, thanks, Sunny. Today marks Giving Tuesday, and Syracuse University is taking its own spin on the national movement. Today is a day for citizens to give back to their communities and support organizations.
The university is asking the SU community to give back to the school and help fund the multiple education programs available here. University leaders say donations from supporters go towards scholarships, immersion trips, and research programs.
Looking for an easy holiday gift for a friend? The College of Visual and Performing Arts has you covered. The Shaped Clay Society of VPA will open its holiday mug sale tomorrow morning.
This sale runs until Friday evening and includes students' holiday mug designs, jewelry, metalwork, and print work. The shop can be found on the first floor gallery of the Schaefer Art Building.
Now, are you interested in competing in Syracuse University's biggest talent competition ever? SU announced this morning they'll be hosting a new event, Syracuse's Got Talent. If you're interested in competing, you must send an audition video with your intended routine to Janelle Zamirowski at the email on the bottom of your screen. Those selected will perform at halftime at a women's basketball home conference game. The two finalists will then compete at halftime of the women's game against Pittsburgh on February 21st, where one winner will be crowned the winner.
Exciting stuff. Good news for students interested in applying to a master's program in Falk College. The university announced an expansion in merit-based scholarships beginning this summer. New incentives to apply also include no application fee, a GRE waiver if needed, and a 25% tuition discount after other scholarships have been applied. All SU alumni are eligible, as well as children of current full-time SU employees. Current Falk Master students who are SU alums or children of faculty are also eligible.
Governor Andrew Cuomo has announced that he will not be running for the Democratic nomination for president in 2020. The governor announced earlier today that he fully intends on finishing his third term as governor.
He appeared on a New York City radio show and he was asked, while he does not plan on running himself, Democrats' only hope of defeating President Trump will be by nominating someone with credibility and experience.
A Syracuse teenager was sentenced today after being found guilty of killing a 15-year-old in 2017. A judge ruled Knowledge Powell will spend 10 years to life in prison.
According to prosecutors, Powell, who was 15 at the time of the shooting, shot Hassani Ramazzini multiple times after a dispute. Powell apologized to Hassani's family in court this morning. And a local man is in custody after authorities say he assaulted and raped his 9-month-old son. The Auburn Police Department says 37-year-old Eugene H. Scott Jr. is facing charges including second-degree assault and third-degree rape after the child's mother grew concerned with unexplained bruising. Scott was also indicted on unrelated charges of raping an underage girl. Scott is a registered level 2 sex offender who was convicted of sexual assault in Texas more than 15 years ago.
3 suspects of a shooting in Central Square last night remain on the loose. New York State Police are currently searching for the 2 men and 1 woman who fled the scene on foot. Dispatchers say the suspects are believed to be in possession of a firearm and should be considered dangerous. The unidentified victim has been transported to Upstate Medical Hospital and is being treated for a gunshot wound to the chest. State police say the victim was targeted in a possible drug-related attack. Carrier Corporation is now an independent company. Its former parent company, United Technologies, is breaking up into its 3 companies, which includes Carrier. Carrier is a global provider of appliances like HVACs and refrigerators. Carrier has recently been laying off employees in the central New York area. United Technologies says it is making the decision so the newly independent companies can provide better service to their customers.
A longtime Chinese buffet on Erie Boulevard is closing its doors. New Fuji Buffet closed suddenly 2 weeks ago, and the building at 2960 Erie Boulevard East has been put up for sale. The building has been serving Chinese food since 1994, but if you lived in Syracuse in the 80s, you might know the building as the old home of Grimaldi's Ristorante, the iconic Syracuse Italian restaurant famous for its 5-course dinners.
I'm talking orange chicken, chicken parm there. Speaking of chickens, in downstate New York, 1 chicken is not a nugget after a police officer saved it from a New York house fire Saturday night.
That's right. One brave Ossining police officer put his life on the line to save the homeowner's feathered friend. Footage of the rescue was caught on the officer's body cam, and the hen's hero could be heard saying, "I got your chicken."
Heroic stuff, certainly. His fellow officers announced that they will be nominating him for a special hero award for Gobble Gobble getting the chicken out safely.
What an amazing story. That's the kind of stories you want to see.
Absolutely. Now, coming up next, how the White House responded to General Motors' decision to cut production facilities during their briefing earlier today.
And if you did some Cyber Monday shopping on Amazon yesterday, stay tuned to find out if you got your hands on one of their best sellers. Citrus TV News will be right back.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver. The one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay. Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch. Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the Citrus TV Newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at Citrus TV News, your campus news leader.
Welcome back to News Live at 6. The White House held a press briefing earlier today for the first time since October. One of the topics discussed at the briefing was automaker company General Motors.
Yesterday, the conglomerate announced that it is shutting down production at some of its facilities and cutting its workforce by 15%. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said that she hopes the company can improve and bring its workers back.
This is not about the president. It's about the fact that they're making a car, frankly, that people don't want to buy. And hopefully they will make adjustments and make changes and bring those workers back.
The White House also said that they have not been discussing presidential pardons for Paul Manafort. Yesterday, prosecutors claimed that Manafort had lied to the FBI after reaching a plea deal. Other topics discussed at the briefing were the upcoming G2 summit and potential trade deals with China.
A report of an active shooter in a Maryland hospital this afternoon turned out to be a drill. Police were called to Walter Reed Military Hospital after 2 o'clock, and the building went on lockdown.
Dutch Ruppesberger, a Maryland congressman, was inside the building when it happened. He hid in a conference room with about 40 other people.
The Guardian reports former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort had secret talks with WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. The Guardian says Manafort met Assange at least 3 separate times.
The latest meeting was in 2016 when Manafort was still with the Trump campaign. WikiLeaks says the story is just a hoax. Just last night, Special Prosecutor Mueller accused Manafort of lying to the FBI. Mueller says Manafort's crimes and lies violate his plea deal made months ago.
The final midterm Senate race of the year ends today. Voters in Mississippi will decide between Republican Cindy Hyde-Smith and Democrat Mike Espy. If elected, Hyde-Smith will be Mississippi's first female senator. Espy would be the state's first black senator in over 100 years.
The state's history of racial violence came to the front of the race after Hyde-Smith made controversial comments about public hangings and voting.
Now to an update on the E. coli outbreak that last week shut down consumption of romaine lettuce across the country. The CDC says they have traced the outbreak to lettuce grown in California's central coastal region.
They say that if the lettuce was not grown in that area, then it's safe to eat. Labels on lettuce bags should say where the lettuce was grown. Experts say that if you aren't sure where the lettuce came from, that you should probably just throw it out.
I'll throw it out anyway. I don't like lettuce. Now, if you shopped over Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend too, hopefully you found some good deals. Amazon announced today that these days were the biggest shopping days in the company's history.
That's right. Some of the best sellers were Amazon products like the new Echo Dot. Others include an Ancestry DNA test, noise-canceling headphones, and Michelle Obama's new book.
There is a shortage on Christmas trees this year, according to the Pacific Northwest Christmas Tree Association. Tree sellers attribute the Great Recession of 2008 as the cause, where growers planted fewer trees to save money. There will be a narrower selection range of mostly smaller trees up to 7 feet. Prices are also expected to increase by 10%.
Tree seller Roger Zimmerman says this is the first shortage in nearly 40 years. Consumers are encouraged to buy their trees early before they run out.
Now China's richest man is a communist, and most people aren't surprised. Jack Ma, the co-founder of the Chinese e-commerce company Alibaba, has reportedly been a member of China's Communist Party since the 1980s.
Ma's membership is significant as it could cause others to follow. 2 other top leaders of China's non-governmental technology sector were also included on the list of party supporters.
Mexico is now responding after the U.S. Border Patrol fired tear gas at migrants trying to cross the U.S.-Mexico border. Authorities claim they fired tear gas after migrants threw rocks at Border Patrol agents.
The Trump administration stands by the controversial use of tear gas, but Mexico's foreign ministry is asking for an investigation into the incident.
And an update on the latest clash between Russia and the Ukraine. 3 of the captured Ukrainian sailors appeared on Russian television criticizing the action of their country's Navy. This comes after Russia seized 3 Ukrainian ships off the coast of Crimea on Sunday.
The commander of the Ukrainian Navy claimed the men had been forced to lie, saying the men appeared to be reading rehearsed statements. The 2 countries have rekindled their fight over Crimea, a region the UN recognizes as part of Ukraine, but Russia disputes this.
Stay tuned for my full weather forecast to find out why you might be canceling your evening plans. Stay with us.
From the Citrus TV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Dozens of students were stranded across the country this past week after heavy snowfall canceled hundreds of flights, largely in the Midwest. This winter storm is now headed toward our area, and the National Weather Service is saying any travel will be, quote, very dangerous. Some parts of central New York could see as much as 20 inches of the snow, and the storm is bringing strong winds with it as well. Yes, guys, it's pretty intense. Now, let me tell you where it all begins. It began yesterday and today with that 33 degrees and that snowfall, moderate to high wind speeds, heavier snow into the evening. Let me show you where that 20 inches is coming from tomorrow. Midnight, 6 a.m., noon, something you all have in common is that it's snowing. It's 33, 33, 34, high chance of snow throughout the morning with an above 60% chance throughout the day. High humidity, so that means very, very thick snow. Now, on to my next slide. You can see a little bit about what we've all been experiencing here in central New York. We got those low to mid 30s, nothing we like to see, not frolicking temperatures, really not pleasant, but it's good snuggling hot cocoa stuff, snow across the board. On to my next slide. You'll see a little bit about what I'm talking about with those poor road conditions. Now, you might see a lot of gray, and that's because it's pretty gray out there, guys. It's nothing but snowy, foggy conditions, very dangerous to be driving in. That's why I said cancel those evening plans. Stay in, watch some Netflix, don't be going out, don't be going driving. It's not great conditions. But if you take a look at the holiday festivities outlook, guys, I put it at a high because holiday festivities are normally indoors. You got baking cookies, you got a high probability of snow on the weekdays, rainy on the weekends. So that's a great time to stay in, make those gingerbread houses. Road conditions are moderate. You can still go out, visit grandma if you want to, but I don't recommend it. Let me give you a look at my full weather forecast. You got 30s, 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 and on Friday, the perfect day, National Stay Home Because You're Well Day. Just stay home, guys. The roads aren't great. It's going to be rainy. It's going to be snowy. We're going to get up to those 20 inches one way or another, guys. Back to you.
Thanks, Sunny. Staying in doesn't seem like too much of a problem for me. But let's take a look at what's trending. Former Nickelodeon star Amanda Bynes might be ready to make her comeback. Bynes is returning to the spotlight, appearing on the cover of Paper Magazine's third annual Break the Internet issue.
Bynes opened up about her struggles over the past few years, including an addiction to Adderall and falling into a depression after filming the popular comedy She's the Man. The former All That and The Amanda Show star says she's been sober for 4 years now and is currently enrolled at the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising.
She plans to get back into acting soon and launch even her own fashion line.
And some truly sad news from Steven Hillenburg, the creator of Nickelodeon's SpongeBob SquarePants. He died yesterday after battling ALS. The former marine biology teacher created the series in 1999. Still on the air today, it remains Nickelodeon's highest-rated show.
The network said in a statement that the original characters and undersea world he created will long stand as a reminder of the value of optimism, friendship, and the limitless power of imagination. He was 57.
Coming up in sports, the ACC all-conference football teams were kind to Syracuse yesterday. Were the individual year-end awards the same? I'll fill you in on everything you need to know about an up-and-down day for Dino Babers and Andre Sisco on the other side.
Here we go. We're going to go out there in the rain. It's going to get wet. All right, here we go. Go, okay, quick. Oh, yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Got a quarter?
And now, your CitrusTV Sports Report.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. I'm J.D. Raucci with sports. It's been a historic season for Syracuse football. I mean, you can go right down the laundry list. First time in the AP Top 25 since 2001. Most wins since that same season. First bowl berth since 2013. And if that's not good enough, how about adding the second most wins of any team in the country? Sounds like an ACC Coach of the Year resume for Dino Babers, right? Well, the conference's media and head coaches have other ideas. Clemson's Dabo Swinney was named the ACC Coach of the Year earlier today, finishing with just 5 more votes than Dino. Hard to argue Swinney doesn't deserve it, though. After all, his Tigers, they're undefeated and ranked second in the country. But fear not, Syracuse fans. There was one positive to come out of the ACC Coach and Player of the Year awards today. Standout safety Andre Cisco was named the conference's Defensive Rookie of the Year this afternoon. And talk about a guy that deserves an award. Cisco is your man. The Long Island native is tied for the nation's lead in interceptions with 7 on the season. Not to mention the fact he also finished 5th in tackles this year for SU. Future is bright for Cisco, even if the immediate future is still a bit uncertain. Cisco, Babers, and the rest of the SU football team find out their bowl fate this Sunday in a live ESPN special from noon to 4. And while Dino and Dabo fought it out for the title of the ACC's top coach, another team in the conference welcomed back one of its former head honchos. North Carolina officially reintroduced Mack Brown as its newest football coach earlier today. The move comes just 2 days after the Tar Heels fired Larry Fedora following a pretty awful 2-9 finish. Brown was previously the head coach at UNC from 1988 to 1997. Shifting gears over to basketball now, Jim Boeheim and company are back in action tomorrow when the SU men's team takes the trek out to Columbus, Ohio for a matchup with number 15 Ohio State in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. And even though we're still early in non-conference play, this game still has a ton of significance for Syracuse. If the Orange do fall to the Buckeyes tomorrow, they'd pick up their 3rd non-conference loss of the season. And folks, that's only happened 6 times in the last 27 years. And in 5 of those 6 instances, SU did not make the NCAA tournament. Getting to the big dance, though, not a problem the last time the Orange squared off with the Buckeyes. We'll rewind it all the way back to 2012 now. Unfortunately, moving past Ohio State was an issue for Syracuse in the 2012 NCAA tournament. SU snagged a 1 seed in that year's big dance, but ran into a buzzsaw in the number 2 Buckeyes in the Elite Eight, falling 77-70. Future NBA player Jared Sullinger led all scorers with 19 points for the Buckeyes in that game. I-man for Syracuse, well, that's none other than Brandon Trish. The then junior finished the game with 15 points. Back to the present day and moving over to the professional ranks now. The Knicks look to continue their hot streak tonight when they take on the Pistons in Detroit. New York is currently riding a 4-game winning streak, and it's not like they're beating any slouches either. They're beating some impressive teams along the way. 3 of their last 4 wins have come against playoff teams from a year ago, with victories over the Blazers, Celtics, and Pelicans. Tip-off tonight from the always beautiful Little Caesars Arena in Detroit is slated for 7. And the Knicks aren't the only New York team sporting an impressive winning streak. How about the Sabres? Scorching hot. 9 wins in a row for Buffalo. They put that incredible stretch on the line tonight when they host the Sharks at First Niagara Center. If the Sabres can knock off the Sharks tonight, they'd have just the 3rd double-digit win streak in team history. And just in case you're wondering, still quite a ways away from the longest win streak in NHL history. The Penguins won 17 games in a row in the 1992-93 season.
It's banana stuff, JD. I don't think anyone expected the Sabres to win 3 games in a row, let alone 9
They're up to
games
16 wins already this season. Jack Eichel's finally paying off for Buffalo.
He's pretty good, but I want to go back to the college game and Mack Brown. This guy's 67 years old. What do you think of this? I think they're going to be playing these games past his bedtime. So what do you think of the hype?
I thought it was an interesting move. I think he had to get away from Larry Fedora. There was no doubt there. There were a lot of problems with the program, not only on the field but off the field with the whole sneaker thing that happened earlier this year. So a change is the right move for UNC. I'm just not sure bringing in Mack Brown, who hasn't coached for quite some time is exactly the right move. Yeah, he had his heyday when he won a national championship with Texas. I'm not sure that heyday is still there for Mack Brown.
Yeah, it was more than a decade ago. And he had Vince
It was a
Young.
long time ago. It was certainly a long time ago.
All right, thanks so much, JD. We're back right after this with a quick break.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Every time I hear the alarm bell go off in school, I think it's an air raid.
A lot of houses in our neighborhood have been destroyed. I like to close my ears and sing songs whenever the bombs come close.
I'm worried our new neighbors won't like us.
But I know it's all gonna be worth it. I just want my family to be safe. But these are not my words.
These are not my words.
These are not my words.
Welcome back to Citrus TV. We have Sunny Balkin in the studio with us. I think one question, I know we ask this every week, but it's kind of hard not to, because today it wasn't snowing, right? But it was terrible weather. Are we going to see that kind of rain slush turn into snow, or is it going to stay like that?
Well, actually, the exact opposite. We're going to see some nice snow, and then on Thursday to Friday, bam, nothing but slush. It's going to be slushy out there. Like you're walking in 7-Eleven. It's going to be gross, guys. I'd bring out your Timberlands or your big heavy boots and, you know, just go for it.
All right, Sunny, thank you. As always, great stuff. Now, to end our show, Dictionary.com has announced their word of the year for 2018, and it takes a stab at Facebook. The word is misinformation, a fitting choice after a year of swarming fake news.
Now, misinformation is defined as false information that is spread regardless of whether there is intent to mislead. Dictionary.com says they chose this word as a call to action to fight against misinformation every day.
The company called out Facebook and other online platforms for failing to curb misinformation this year. And that's all the time we have for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us.
Follow Citrus TV News on Twitter and Facebook, and check out our website.
I'm Claudia Bellofatto.
And I'm Drew Carter. Have a great night, Syracuse.